This week on TIAA Bank Jaguars Weekend, the Jaguars are looking to bounce back after a tough loss in Carolina. An improved offense has the city buzzing of the possibilities of the season.
I think our guys believe that we're never out of the game, and that's a credit to them.
The Saints are marching in, and a win will get the Jags back on track. We're heading to the film room with Jaguars analyst Jeff Lageman, and we're following Ronnie Harrison in the community. All that and much more coming up on TIAA Bank Jaguars Weekend.
This is TIAA Bank Jaguars Weekend. TIAA Bank, created to serve, built to perform. And Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com to see how much you could save.
It's just a belief in one another. You know, it's knowing the guys in that huddle that as long as there's time on the clock, we're going to keep fighting. We're going to give all we got because we know the guy next to you is, and you're not going to let him down.
It's no secret a lot went wrong against the Panthers, but this team fought till the final drive, and Gardner Minshew gave them a chance to win. Hello and welcome to TIAA Bank Jaguars Weekend. I'm Ashlyn Sullivan. After last Sunday's performance, it doesn't really feel like the Jaguars lost to the Panthers. Maybe it was the big offensive performance or that the team was in it until the final whistle. Despite losing, the Jags gained a lot of confidence in Carolina. Now the Saints come to town for a battle of the backup quarterbacks. This week, the Jaguars have gone back to the basics. The focus has been eliminating turnovers and fixing the run defense. It's no question the linebackers are hoping for a better game against the Saints.
Being more urgency with getting to the play, because in the classroom it's more of like you telling you what to do. When you actually get on the field, you got to actually see it and go to it. So that's the biggest thing. Since flying back from Carolina, we've heard about fixing the run defense multiple times. The Jaguars defense has said it's an easy fix. You would hope so, with one of the best running backs in the league, Alvin Kamara, marching into Jacksonville.
Super elusive, hard running, tough, strong, fast. So if I'm him looking at the tape, he's getting excited. But if you look at it, though, there's a lot of mistakes. A lot of mistakes that can be cleaned up.
It's not just the defense who's been grinding all week. The entire team needs to be on their A game in order to beat the Saints.
No, they're a very good defense. They're very, very tough up front. Got a good D-line, athletic and smart. They're all vets at linebacker, and then probably one of those talented sets of DBs we've seen. So it's a good challenge, and I think one we'll be ready for.
Big game this Sunday against the New Orleans Saints as we welcome in Bryan Sexton and John Ogier. And thank you, Subway, for bringing John lunch. He eats everything.
Yummy.
Yes. So the big thing this week has been 2 points of emphasis: 3 turnovers and fixing the run defense.
Yeah, and the three turnovers the Jaguars committed are things you've got to cut out of Gardner Minshew's game. He's talked all week, and John DeFilippo talked about things they've done in practice to eliminate that. I think that's more of a long-term fundamental type issue of when he's in the pocket having two hands on the ball. I expect it to be a little bit of an issue going forward, improve over time. It's something that can be fixed. It's hard to fix it immediately, but you can also protect better to prevent that kind of thing from happening.
Absolutely. And the run game, I was told years ago, stopping the run is an attitude. But it's also an intellect. You must know your job in this defense, and you must be committed to doing that job. If that's my gap, I got to be there. That's how they're going to handle that this week. They're not going to change the scheme. They're going to reemphasize, be where you're supposed to be, do your job, don't worry about the guy in front or behind you.
Mm-hmm. So even with all of those problems, the offense in Gardner Minshew at the very end of the Carolina game gave him a chance to win. We definitely want to see more of the offense we've been seeing this week.
Well, it's in the NFL, you've got a multitude of issues. They're all over the place. But if this quarterback thing is working, it makes everything else feel so much smaller. And that's what's working right now. Gardner Minshew is starting to play at a higher and higher level each week. He's so much more than we imagined he was going to be. When the quarterback's functioning, you can make up for all the other stuff going wrong a little easier. When he's not, everything else seems huge.
Well, such as the tight end position. And this offense wants production from the tight end. But the one guy that they had something going with, James O'Shaughnessy, is now on injured reserve for the remainder of the season. Well, you don't have anything unless Josh Oliver all of a sudden overcomes 2.5 months of inactivity and can give you something. Well, but Minshew then can throw to Marquise Lee or find DJ Chark again, or D.D. Westbrook is still waiting for a breakout moment. I guess what you're saying is that quarterback allows them to do so many different things schematically that they can deal with the loss of James O'Shaughnessy.
Quickly, guys, it seems like we've been on the road for months, and everyone's talking about the excitement of being back home on Sunday. Even after a loss last week, they're still very excited, this fan base, to watch this team.
It's really the debut of Minshew Mania. When he played here and started against Tennessee, it was sort of a little thing. This is the first time that the fans are going in with Minshew Mania at full throat, if you will.
No, you saw the fans wrapped around the building at the beach earlier this week just to meet him and get an autograph. I would anticipate that times 10 here on Sunday. There are a lot of people that are going to be at the game to see him for the first time.
Minshew Mania in full effect, that's for sure. Stay tuned, much more to come here on Jaguars Weekend. We have more for you on Jaguars Weekend. Last week, the Jaguars gave up 285 yards rushing to the Panthers. Jeff Loggeman tells us how the defense will fix that next in the Cadillac Film Room.
You're all disappointed that you're not kind of going head-to-head with Drew Brees?
No. I'm glad he's not playing, right? I mean, jeez.
The Jaguars breathed a sigh of relief when they found out Drew Brees would not be playing in Jacksonville. But that relief didn't last long after they watched backup Teddy Bridgewater light up the field and give the Saints fan base hope for a winning season. Welcome back to TIAA Bank Jaguars Weekend. Last week, the Jaguars defense did not play as they hoped against the Carolina Panthers. Running back Christian McCaffrey single-handedly ruined the Jaguars' chance of leaving Carolina with a win. The defense doesn't get any breaks this week. Jeff Loggeman tells us how the Jags plan to stop Saints running back Alvin Kamara.
Welcome into the football lab, and the Jaguars defense had a tough time against McCaffrey, and particularly on that 84-yard zone scheme play that he ran against the Jaguars' gap defense. Now, zone scheme, all he is doing is looking for a hole anywhere from here all the way to the back side. But the problems for the Jaguars defense were not on the front side. It was on the backside, and the backside problem started because there was some action to that play design that made them slow down a little bit. You had a backside seal block by Greg Olsen on Josh Allen. You also had a reverse action by the wide receiver on the snap of the ball. When McCaffrey starts this way, as the linemen are coming in and cutting off on the backside, all this action slows Miles Jack, Calais Campbell, and Josh Allen down. Calais actually gets reached by the tackle. That's one gap now that's open. And also Miles Jack gets pulled to the outside, Josh Allen gets pulled to the outside, and Christian McCaffrey has a big hole right up through here. But at that point, we just got to minimize the damage, have the safety make a play, the deep safety. Oh, Jared Wilson ends up cheating over to this side. Now he's out of position and he's not, doesn't have the ability to come back and make a play against McCaffrey. Now let's jump into the film and see this in action. Now focus in on Calais. He's lined up in the gap that he's responsible for, between 60 and 72, but he gets pulled to the outside with the action. Now he's not in that gap, and there's McCaffrey. Bam! Right into the gap and up the field. And Miles Jack, you can see, he's out of position as well. And the safety, nowhere to be seen. He's got to be that second layer of defense to stop the big play.
Thanks, Jeff. We now continue our countdown on the Jaguars All-25. Center Brad Meester played for 14 years with the Jaguars and was the definition of dependable. He's number 13 on the top 25 Jaguars of all time.
The Jaguars All-25, presented by Sharpie.
Number 13, Brad Meester.
Longevity, check. Games played, games started, check. Ability, check. He fits all the boxes.
In the NFL, it's hard to check the box every day. But center Brad Meester did it during his entire 14-year career.
You think of Brad Meester, you think of longevity. 209 career games, the most by any player in franchise history.
I would call him a classic lunch pail guy. Came to work every day, gave it everything he had.
If they needed him to play guard, he was a guard. If they needed him to play center, he was a center. If they needed him to play quick and get up the field, he was quick and up the field. If they needed him to maul, he mauled.
Yeah, Mr. Jaguar, and to show you how long Brad was here when I first covered the team, and decades later he was still here. It still felt like decades. When I walked in 10 years later after covering the team and Brad Meester was still here playing at a high level, it was like, wow, time really does stand still sometimes.
During Meester's time in Jacksonville, he set team records for seasons played, games played and started, and consecutive games started. To play in that many games in the NFL, you have to be pretty good at your job.
Takes the snap. Now he's going to run. Byron's going up the middle. Touchdown!
I mean, he was in there game after game, year after year. You could always just depend on him.
He drafted him as a guard in 2000, but he goes in as center in 2001. This franchise didn't draft a center until 2014. They went 13 years without even trying to address the position.
You know, he realized that he wasn't just the guy that touched the ball in every play. He was the heartbeat of that offensive line.
Meester played under 4 head coaches and protected 9 starting quarterbacks during his career. He is known as Mr. Jaguar, and he has seen just about every era of football in Jacksonville.
Spanned eras. He played for Coughlin, and he also played for Gus Bradley. That's a long time to play in this league at a high level.
Very good center, underrated center. Should have been in the Pro Bowl, should have been an All-Pro at some point in his career.
Didn't get much notice, but that never seemed to bother him. A real team leader, the head of the offense, and he played 14 years with the same team and went out on his own terms.
Tell you what he is. He's a Pro Bowl and All-Pro father, mostly because he has 7 daughters. That guy gets the All-Pro, All-World, All-Everything title.
Brad Meester is the 13th best Jaguar of all time.
Still to come on Jaguars Weekend. Coming up, we visit the Boys and Girls Club with the Jag safety. And you'll meet the team behind the team.
Keep being hungry. The ops are there. Last week we had 2 forced fumbles. We didn't get a chance to get on them. The ops are there. We just got to keep playing fast, get into the ball, and they'll come.
The Jags defense is starving for more turnovers. In 2017, the Jaguars finished the season with a +10 turnover ratio. Right now, they're -4. Yeah, they have some work to do. Welcome back to TIAA Bank Jaguars Weekend. The Jaguars knew they found a very talented football player when they drafted Ronnie Harrison. He has an important job being the Jaguars' starting safety. One of his responsibilities is making time to be a good example for Jacksonville's youth. This Baptist Health feature brings us to the Boys and Girls Club.
Helping kids in an after-school program. That's something close to the heart of Jaguars safety Ronnie Harrison. He and 3 teammates, Raquel Armstead, Leon Jacobs, and Charles Jones, visited the Boys and Girls Club of Northeast Florida, surprising students. The players handed out pizza and hung out to talk or help with homework. Harrison knows firsthand the impact of the Boys and Girls Club after-school programs from his hometown of Tallahassee.
I feel like it's a great thing that they're doing, worldwide. Just providing a place for kids to go after school, get their homework done, able to mingle around other kids, instead of being in the streets and being around so much of that other activity, that's going on. So.
Jacobs and Jones also participated in the Boys and Girls Clubs in their hometowns, and those success stories can go a long way.
Them come back and give back to the boys clubs where they grew up with, so it's an inspiration for our kids now. So now it tells them they can be great and be anything they want to be as well.
For Jaguars Weekend, I'm JP Shadrick.
Ronnie is a great example that hard work pays off, from the Boys and Girls Club in his hometown to NFL Sundays. To be a successful organization, you have to have much more than just great players in your locker room. You need a great support staff, and the Jaguars have that. No job might be more underrated than the equipment staff. We take you to the team behind the team to see how those guys get the team ready for Sundays.
Basically what we try to do is we try to make sure that the only thing the players have to work, players and coaches and staff, is just what their job is. We don't want them thinking about what they're wearing, if they're protected or not, if it's going to rain, if it's cold. Our job is kind of take all that off their plate so they can focus on whether it's playing football, coaching, doing whatever they need to do during the game.
We're the team mother for the team, for the players. Make sure they have their bags are packed and they have the right gloves and shoes, and are they warm enough, and are they going to have the right clothing.
During training camp, we probably do about 1,500 pounds of laundry a day. And then once we get into the regular season, it drops down to about 1,000 pounds a day. But it seems like those machines are pretty much always going. We always got something washing or drying, and we get it, clean, put it back out, and they dirty it up again.
You have to be efficient. There's only so many hours in the day. We have a lot of things we have to do. If you're not efficient, you're not going to be able to get all the jobs done. And being right the first time is always the goal. Not always happens, but that's always the goal.
Find out more information about natural gas and energy conservation rebates at peoplesgas.com. Up next on TIAA Bank Jaguars Weekend. Final thoughts before Sunday's matchup with the Saints.
Jaguars Weekend is presented in part by TIAA Bank, created to serve, built to perform. And Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com to see how much you could save.
What we got? Hard count. Hard count. Goal line, goal line. Let's go, boy!
AJ Boye mic'd up against the Carolina Panthers. That big fourth down stop was definitely a positive of the day. We're back with Brian, John, and Subway. Speaking of the cornerbacks, Jalen Ramsey somewhat participating in practice this week. Unsure if he'll play this week, but looking kind of promising.
Yeah, it'd be nice. After the 3 weeks of saga, I'm not going to believe it until he's on the field, just because I don't know what the back is thinking. The backs don't think, but I don't know what the back is.
If they did.
I don't know what he's thinking. Until we find out more, I guess I'm going to assume he's not playing. Hope for the best, because goodness are they better with him. There's nothing good about not having him on the field, but I just think they need to continue preparing as if he's not going to be there.
I'll take you're right, they should keep preparing at that. I'll take the opposite side. The owner was on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange and told the street, oh no, he's playing this week. We met, he's playing this week. So I'll assume that he is playing at this point. But I'm with John on this. They need him. They can be fine. They can be good without him. They can't be special without him. And in the next couple of weeks, you're going to see some special receivers. They need him on the field.
Yeah, Shad Khan, I normally listen to him, that's for sure.
If he wants to give any investment tips while he's there, I'll take those too.
So Gardner Minshew, this is probably one of his biggest tests this week. Marshawn Lattimore, we're talking about the Saints offense, but that defense is just as good.
It's good. I think he passed his big early season test when he played so well in Carolina. So I don't think you have to worry about a huge drop-off. I think the biggest thing with Gardner is you keep on waiting for him to be overwhelmed by a situation. And that's usually what bites rookie quarterbacks, is the situation all of a sudden becomes too much. And you have a couple series in a row where there's a pick six and then there's a fumble and then it's awful. I think he got through it against Carolina. The Saints defense is very good. It's not as good as Carolina's. It won't be as much of a scene as Carolina's because you're at home. I think he'll be fine.
I have been waiting for the rookie moment. I saw it last week. I mean, 2 of the 3 fumbles were on him, and they still had a chance to win at the end. We've seen the rookie moment. That was my moment where I said, okay, this is real. This is who the kid is. It's not just him getting off to a fast start or defensive coordinators failing to adjust to him. He had his bad day in terms of the turnovers, and they still had a shot at the end to win.
Check it off the clipboard that it happened and move on.
Yep.
So lastly, guys, we've been talking about it throughout the week. Keeping alive in the AFC South, you kind of got to win this week in order to do that.
Well, it would be very nice to win. I said before these 2 games that I thought they had a really good chance of losing both of them because it's a tough stretch. You can still get healthy off of it. You'd much rather be 3-3 I don't love their chances this weekend because I think the Saints are playing very consistently. They have to get a lead to get ahead and put the Saints in a bad situation. I think they're 2-4 coming out, and then they play their way back into it.
Yeah, the Texans could go beat the Chiefs and extend it now and have everybody talking about the Texans and the Colts, and then here are the Jaguars and the Titans. So it feels that way. They're not out of it if they don't, but they're in it if they do.
All right, let's see if the Jaguars can get to 3-3 this week. We're back next week with the next Jaguars Weekend.